But first, while America is struggling under sky-high inflation and we are getting new reports of fraud, the Biden administration is looking to spend another $22.5 billion in federal COVID funding. This is they're keeping the country under a national COVID emergency declaration that allows the president to have special executive powers. Senator Roger Marshall made a move this week to try to put an end to this emergency declaration. He joins me now. Senator, it's great to see you this weekend. Thanks for being here.
Maria, always great to be with you.
So the president said the pandemic is over. What does he want with more emergency money?
Yeah, Maria, well, certainly this president talks out of both sides of his mouth. What your listeners need to realize is when there's an emergency declaration, it does give the president more powers. He's used those powers. Whoever's running this White House sure knows how to use those powers. They've locked our kids out of schools. They've shut us out of our work. And now he's using it as an excuse to ask for more money, more inflationary spending on this continuing resolution that we're facing. He's also using this as an excuse to make school loan payments and to basically eliminate some of those school loans as well. So this does give him more power. That's why we've introduced a resolution that could stop this. And we've got the votes to do it. We'll need Nancy Pelosi to do the same thing on her side of the Capitol.
So where is this going? I mean, clearly the president says the pandemic is over, and yet he wants to spend more money. All of this spending has led to 40-year high inflation.
Yeah, that's a great question. And why this inflation is not going to stop is because the president won't reverse his policies. Again, back home, all people are talking about is the cost of groceries, of gasoline, their safety and security. But I think this will put a lot of pressure on the White House, and they're going to have to walk this back. But I don't see how he can do the student loan forgiveness without keeping this in place.
Well, will you be able to stop this massive spending package that he has agreed with Manchin on, or will there be a government shutdown next week?
Well, Maria, certainly we're very far apart right now. I know it'll go down to the last second. We haven't even really seen anything in writing what they're wanting. All we know is that they want to borrow even more money, probably $40 or $50 billion more on top of already an inflationary number. So we'll be spending more money in Ukraine than we are on the southern border, keeping our families safe. So right now, there's no way. I think that there's a large group of us that can get to yes. Maybe there's 10 senators on the Republican side that will, but we'll be fighting every step of the way.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because no new funding for the border. In fact, there are about 15,000 border agents, but Joe Biden wants to have 166,000 IRS agents. So that's really where his priorities are. I got to switch gears, though, and ask you about the letter that you and 11 other Republican senators sent to the credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. You warned them not to move ahead with their plans to track gun purchases. What should we know about this?
Yeah, Maria, well, woke financial institutions are using ESG to defund, to debank the oil and gas industry. Now they're using these ESG scores to do an end around our Second Amendment, basically creating a gun registry. You know, we should all be worried when Senator Elizabeth Warren is taking a victory lap and praising an action, and then she basically cites that these credit card companies can work hand in hand with the government to track our gun purchases. So that's why I led this letter with 12 senators as well as 23 state attorney generals, including my state attorney general, Derek Schmidt, very proud for his efforts on this, warning them that if they do this, they're going to be sued, and we're going to do everything we can to fight back.
Unbelievable. You've only got about less than 50 days until the midterm elections. How are you feeling about this race right now with all of the moves that you've been making for the American people?
Yeah, certainly, Maria. We're seeing the polls move in the right directions. We've got excellent candidates. I'm sure you saw the polls in Nevada yesterday. 2 polls said the Republican candidate is now leading. Where we were behind by 10 points, we've closed to 2. Where we were behind by 2 points, we're now ahead. I really think that as Americans go to the polling booths, they're going to think about the cost of gasoline, that last tank of gas, the cost of groceries up 13% as well. They're going to think about the safety and security of their family. I'm very optimistic we end up with 52 or 53 Republicans controlling the agenda in the Senate. That's what's going to stop inflation.
But Biden is still planning on raising taxes on everybody next year, right?
Oh, absolutely. So, our basic goals would be to stop the spending and then to stop his tax. He's trying to take away every tax cut that President Trump made. And don't forget the regulatory part of this. I think regulations under President Trump were rolled back. That really helped the economy. This president, President Biden, has replaced all those regulations and more. So those would be our top priorities, along with the safety and security of your family. Look, I'm the son of the chief of police. I believe in law and order. I believe in border security. I believe in a strong military.
Yeah, and all of those policies from your colleagues on the left, while also, like you said, Elizabeth Warren wanting to work with credit card companies to track people's purchases if they own a gun.
Yeah, again, if Elizabeth Warren is cheering this, Americans need to stand up. This is a threat on your Second Amendment. This is step one, to create a gun registry. The next thing is to come and take our guns. And I absolutely am convinced this is coming from an international body. China is intimately involved with that. Not only will our businesses or our government know who owns guns, I think China will get them as well. Whenever there's this registry created, right now China is watching your emails and my emails.
That's right. Senator, it's great to have you on this. This is really important. We appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.